What's up guys, today we're going to be reviewing the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi premiering on Disney+. And this show is probably the most hyped I have been for Star Wars content in years. Genuine years. It was easily my most hyped Disney+ show. Obi-Wan Kenobi was my childhood hero. I can remember reenacting the Mustafar battle in our primary school playground, every day, every break time, every lunchtime. Obi-Wan Kenobi was my equivalent of Luke Skywalker. The prequels are the films I grew up with. Obi-Wan Kenobi was the Jedi for me. And when the first trailer came out with John Williams' Duel of the Fates, Battle of the Heroes, the Temple March, I genuinely teared up. It was just such a beautiful trigger for all these joyous memories I had as a kid. I took a day off school to go see Revenge of the Sith at the cinema when I was 7. These films meant so much to me as a child. So I cannot express how crushing it is to watch the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, the first third of the whole show, and ultimately feel nothing. Don't get me wrong, I really like the first episode. I like the Logan Unforgiven approach to finding Obi-Wan as a bit of a Lone Ranger, and the slow burn build up to his return to the action, his call to action at the end of the episode. One of my biggest problems with Disney Plus shows is their 6-episode format. Andor is apparently getting 12 episodes, The Mandalorian's been getting 8 episodes. Why in God's name Obi-Wan Kenobi, one of the most iconic Star Wars characters of all time, is only getting 6 episodes will baffle me no end. Because you can see there is a lot of potential in this show, and that is always what frustrates me most with Disney products, whether that's Marvel, whether that's Star Wars, is you can see the makings of a great show that they can never quite tap into. But I think that opening should have been a 10-minute long sequence, sort of like the equivalent of how Man of Steel opened, with Jor-El and the destruction of Krypton really immersing you in that kind of sense of catastrophe transpiring around you. Picture the season 3 of Daredevil tracking shot, just following these kids throughout the Jedi Temple as they're rushing to escape. A really extended, really immersive experience of trauma that really sets the tone for the kind of travesty that the Empire is causing in the universe. I think these series feel very rushed, and Obi-Wan is no different. And so you can feel the demands of the plot kicking in to get characters where they need to go. With a 10-episode show, you could explore every relationship, really kind of build up these dynamics, leading to a satisfying conclusion. And the reveal of, Anakin in the Bacta tank at the end of episode 2, that smash-on action cut, it felt so anticlimactic, it felt rushed. Where was the kind of long shot of the murky water of the Bacta tank as the camera tracks slowly towards it and the episode ends with his eyes opening? Where was that? It was just a rushed shot, and this was Hayden Christensen's first shot as Anakin Skywalker in over 15 years. And I felt yeah, okay. We won't even talk about Leia's chase sequences because that is gonna do me in. I thought she was okay in episode 1, quite charming, quite sassy in an environment she knows. But when she is taken out of that environment, when she is kidnapped, rescued by strangers and put into oblivion, she doesn't change. She is still this kind of slightly snobby, slightly clever, slightly sassy girl that Princess Leia is in A New Hope. They've just kind of taken her qualities and put them into a child. There's no sense of this child is young, she would be petrified. They literally just copy and paste Leia's adult personality and put that into a child. And that is not great writing, that isn't even great nostalgia. To me, it's clear they're trying to honour the character, but in doing so they're sacrificing the integrity of the character in the present moment, and then it feels forced. Reva I'm very unsure on at the moment, mainly unsure because of how much time we're spending with her, because I'm not entirely sure that the payoff for her character is going to be satisfying enough to justify how much time we're spending with the character. I feel like she's destined to go on that kind of anti-hero arc where her and Obi-Wan sort out their differences by the end, and realistically Vader's going to kill her, or the Grand Inquisitor's going to come back and kill her. When she did the kind of mind reading with Kamal Nanjiani's kind of swindler character in episode 2, why did she not just do that with Owen Lars in episode 1, or the villagers in episode 1? I'm just not too sold on her at the moment, mainly just because she's not what we're here for. We're here for Anakin and Obi-Wan. We're here for their dynamic, we're here for their characters. The Inquisitors are great, I love Clone Wars, I love Rebels, so it's great to see them included in live action. And the idea that they're Jedi hunters, and the Grand Inquisitor's speech in the first episode, I really digged. I love their kind of sinister presence, but Reva just undermines that. The end of episode 2 promises the great emotional arc for Obi-Wan. If he finds out that Anakin's alive, you can see that sink in Ewan McGregor's face. And Ewan McGregor is not only the best part of this show at the moment, but I'd say he's the only great part of this show. You can see the weighty sadness in Ewan McGregor's portrayal of the character. You can see the regret. You can see the mourning the loss of his friend, or supposed loss of his friend. I genuinely think we're only going to get one lightsaber moment with Obi-Wan, and that's when he clashes with Vader again. You know, the prequel era films were the best of Star Wars in two ways. Choreography, like that has not changed. The standard of fight choreography in Star Wars has deteriorated. And music. I genuinely think the prequel era music is John Williams' best in Star Wars. Duel of the Fates, Battle of the Heroes, Anakin and Padme's love theme, there's just so many iconic, really evocative soundtracks there. And when Obi-Wan and Vader face off again, if there isn't Battle of the Heroes or one of those prequel era renditions, I think it's going to be dull. I really think it's going to be lackluster. I really loved Temuera Morrison's cameo as a kind of homeless clone trooper, sort of disregarded on the streets of Dayu. I think that was a really interesting kind of dynamic, a nod with Obi-Wan kind of giving him some coins. And especially if you've watched the Clone Wars and you see how those characters get fully formed and developed, and the relationship between the clones and the Jedi, that moment really hits, kind of knowing what they were responsible for and that kind of thing. So I really loved that moment, as brief as it was, that kind of acknowledging what's going on in the wider universe. But I do think this show is in danger. It's got 4 episodes to go. I'm not dying to see more yet, which is just, it saddens me to have to say that. They've got all the makings of a narratively compelling and emotionally compelling show if they just focus on the right elements of that. So let's bring Anakin back in episode 3, let's spend some screen time with Vader, let's get rid of baby Leia, who I think is the worst part of the show at the moment, and let's maybe stop dragging out the mystery of Reva's significance, because at the moment it's bogging the show down. I thought she had some cool parkour scenes, but I think her brash recklessness is not coming across as intimidating or compelling at the moment. So they need to either just hash out the mystery and kind of establish her character's motives and make those engaging, or she needs to face some consequences for what she's been doing, because I doubt the Grand Inquisitor is dead. We've got 3 alien Inquisitors who all look sick. Let's spend some time with them. The show needs to remember who it's about. Let's have some Clone Wars flashbacks with Obi-Wan and Anakin leading their troops into battle. I think that would be really great stuff that we're not going to get. Obviously we're going to get Liam Neeson return as Qui-Gon at some point. They teased that in episode 1, again in episode 2. It's obviously building towards an interaction with his master. That'll make it feel a bit more spiritual, a bit more Force-like. But let's get back to those Jedi roots, because as fun as it is to see Obi-Wan throw down with mercenaries, seeing him get beaten up, knowing how great a fighter he is, feels disrespectful. I know it's been 10 years, I know he's rusty, and obviously it's the journey of him rediscovering that power and that strength, but it needs to happen soon. I want to see the very powerful Obi-Wan Kenobi who's had to repress his abilities, not the Obi-Wan Kenobi who's lost his abilities and has to rediscover them. And I think that's for me where the approach isn't quite spot on. You know, because we've done the disillusioned Jedi, we've done that with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. I can understand if the character is reluctant to use his abilities, reluctant to use his lightsaber, but let's not have him incompetent because of that. Let's have the character arc him embracing who he's always been, not rediscovering who he's always been. So far, the Force is not with this show, but let me know what you guys thought. Are you okay with what we've been given so far, or did you, like me, expect to be more fulfilled? Drop a comment or a like, please subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to be reviewing this show weekly, so stay tuned for more. Thank you.